Hi everyone, welcome back. Now today I'm going to be uploading an updated Hieratic deck profile. Now this one is going to be focusing on the Hieratics more as an engine to facilitate some rank 8 OTK plays. So similar to my last one, which I posted a while ago, it's going to be a blinding second deck list with some big differences from the first one. And similar to the last one, I'm releasing this one in as my way of celebrating 200 subscribers. So thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I really appreciate it. I didn't think we would get this far. As I mentioned right at the start of my channel, this has just been a record for me to keep track of decks that I've played and built. So Hieratics being one of my favorite decks, I thought it would be fitting to do at 200 subscribers. So that's what this will be. And I'll be playing this at locals tonight. So I'll get straight into the list. I'm not really going to do test hands as such. I might do just draw some test hands, not actually play them out, because it's a going second deck. It's obviously very dependent on what your opponent has. But for the main deck, 3 Tefnuit, 3 Su, 2 Asset. So for the Hieratic monsters, I'm only playing these ones. Now the last profile I posted had 3 Asset, 3 Nebfed. It was maxing a lot more out in the Hieratics because it was focusing on the Hieratics themselves as board breaking cards, but this is just going to be using them as an engine to get started. So in this build, Tefnuit is just the absolute most important Hieratic, for reasons I'll explain a little bit later, but pretty much we're going second. Tefnuit should always be live, and that's the most important one. Playing 1 level 6 vanilla, being Labradorite Dragon. It's a dark, which is great because we can use it with Levy to get the pop 2 effect if we need it. But we're not really focusing on rank 6s, we're focusing on rank 8s. So we just need the 1 target just so that we've got it. The rest of the Hieratic engine is just going to be Convocation. Now I was originally planning to use the new Creation spell as well, but it's just not that good in this specific deck. You need too many things to go right before that card's even live, and we would rather focus more on just breaking the board. Going into the rank 8 engine, or the engine that's going to facilitate rank 8 plays, it's not really a Blue Eyes engine, we'll call it a Melody of Awakening Dragon engine, but Melody of Awakening Dragon is one of the key cards, and I'm playing a lot of targets that are searchable. So these 5 cards here are all searchable by Melody of the Awakening Dragon. Blue Eyes is another vanilla target for the Hieratics, so that comes up quite a bit. Alternative is simply for when you open a Blue Eyes, or if you've got no way to a rank 8 or a level 8 monster, Melody into these 2 guarantees you a level 8, which is great. Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon, if you don't know what this card is insane. It's one of the best cards in the deck, but pretty much this is our main normal summon. We can tribute summon this card by tributing a level 5 or higher monster, and if it's tribute summoned, we can non-targeting destroy 1 monster opponent controls and burn them for the amount of attack it had. And that's got a second effect, which doesn't really come up too much because we'd rather overlay this for a rank 8, but it can, when it destroys a monster by battle, summon back a level 5 or higher monster from hand or graveyard in defense position, which is useful. But this card is insane. Obviously, if we use this to tribute someone over a Tefnuit or a Su, we get to trigger their effects to then summon out a Blue Eyes, setting up a rank 8. So if we can pull off Advanced Dragon, typically it means we've got a rank 8 play guaranteed after that. The other 2 cards I'm playing as part of this little engine is Galactic Spiral. It's not searchable by Melody, however we can summon it off of a ton, which does come up a bit, and I'm playing Starliege Safet. Also summonable off a ton. Sometimes you want to summon the Safet off a ton, use a level 8 dragon that's not useful, get it to the graveyard to search out Levy, which is a great play. And then the last 3 cards in this engine, of course, is the Melody of Awakening Dragon, which does all of the work searching out most of those cards. The next engine is a Danger engine using trade-in, because we're playing some level 8 dragons. So I've got 3 Bigfoot, 2 Thunderbird, and 3 trade-in. This just gives us more level 8 bodies, plus it turns things like trade-in, Melody into potential disruptions if we can discard a Danger alongside that. Bigfoot being the main one, because most of our threats we face up, but we do have some control decks that we need to play around, so the Thunderbird is good there as well. But that's the trade-in little engine that we're running with Dangers. And the rest of the cards are our going second card. So this is going to be a 42 card deck, focusing specifically on OTKing. So I'm not running Dark Ruler because I'd rather just kill them if we can. So I'm playing 3 Gamma Seal. It's a level 8, so if we can get it to our field as well, it's serving some, it's got some use. The only card I'm using as a hand trap as such on our opponent's turn is Gamma and Driver. If we do draw it as a 6th card, we do have a lot of cards that potentially could get ashed, so Gamma's not the worst thing there either, but really we want it as a, just to lessen the board that our opponent puts up, because if our opponent ends on a subpar board, the OTK is that much easier. I'm playing 1 Twin and 1 Harpies for the Duster. Obviously Harpies is a blowout, but Twin Twisters as well is useful against the control decks, which is great. The main control deck that I'd be playing against at my locals is Guru, Subterra, Numeron. So Gamma Seal's already going to put in some work here. Gamma has some, like all of these cards will also help with that matchup. And then the last 3 cards are Impermanence. If I had something like Droplet, it would be a good choice, I think. But Imperm just turns off a monster, and there's not many decks that are ending on too many Omni negates. So Imperm, for example, Imperm on an Appaloosa is really strong. It's going to bait out something. So these are the board breaking cards I'm playing, and we'll see how that goes. For the extra deck, playing, so like I said, not much of a focus on the rank 6s. So I'm only playing 1 Atum, and I'm going for 1 Utopia Beyond. This might get changed. Utopia Beyond serves a lot more use in a deck with Dark Ruler, because Utopia Beyond, you can just get in there for a lot of damage, not damage, but you can just attack with no fear of getting destroyed, because it reduces their attack to 0, and then can get over a threat, plus then not using any materials to go into Gaia Dragon and Zeus. So we've got that as an option if we need it, but it is what it is. Gaia Dragon's useful as well, because if we do make a Tum, we can at least attack with the Gaia Dragon. The rest of the extra deck is pretty much rank 8 plays. I'm playing 1 Hieratic Sky Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. It's decent. I was running this more predominantly when I was using Hieratic Seal of Creation, but I've kept it in. The targeting protection is useful if we kind of want to just guarantee that our Numeron Dragon gets in for damage. It means Numeron Dragon can't get impermed or veiled or anything, so it can come up. Dingirsu is just a good rank 8 monster. Going first or second, it serves purpose. One of the big engines that I'm really looking forward to just playing, because it offers so much power, is the Galaxy Eyes package. So I'm playing 1 Cypher X Dragon, I'm playing 1 Cypher Blade Dragon, 1 Full Armor Photon, and 1 Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. Because I'm not really going to do test stands, I'll explain what this does. But essentially, we make Cypher Dragon first. Cypher Dragon has an effect to detach and target a face-up monster opponent controls. We can't attack directly for the rest of the turn, so if you're using this package, we need to leave them with at least 1 monster, because we can Numeron Dragon OTK into that 1 monster. We just can't attack directly because we're going to be using this for other Xyz material. But we steal their monster, we turn the monster we steal into Cypher X, because Cypher Dragon makes its name Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, and Cypher X Dragon can be Xyz summoned using a Cypher Dragon monster. So if we steal their monster and make it Cypher Dragon, we can turn it into Cypher X, which just gives us a free 4k beat stick. It doesn't really have any useful effects outside of that. It's not really going to be sticking around until our next turn, because we're hoping to just win. But then Full Armor Photon and Cypher Blade offer more destruction as you step through them. So this steals a monster, this pops a face-up card by detaching, this pops any card by detaching. So going through this, if this is going uninterrupted, we deal with 3 cards of our opponent if we can get through it. So it's useful. It's fun to do as well, because it just kind of gives you so many options after that. Then I'm playing the Draglubian, Harbinger, and Numeron as our win button. They're pretty self-explanatory. Going first, our deck does not do too much, but the goal would be to establish something like a Seal and Titanic, because the Titanic protects the Seal from battle. And I'm siding 1 Amorphage Goliath. So going first, if we can establish it, we can go for Seal and Harbinger, use Harbinger to prevent the Goliath from getting destroyed by battle. So it's something that we can maybe rely on if we can get there. I'm playing 1 Chaos Ruler. This is just if I do Gamma my opponent in my turn. It's probably not going to come up. I'm potentially thinking about throwing in a Galaxy Serpent. It's a level 2 non-effect tuner monster that can be summoned off a Hieratic, so the normal Sue and Tefnuit play can end you with, or can get you to Chaos Ruler instead of Atum, which could be good, though there's not too many of our cards that want to be in the graveyard as such. So I'm playing it there more as just it's a level 8 monster that can be summoned off of Gamma and Driver. It recurs itself as a level 8 body, which is nice too. So if it comes up, it comes up. If not, it's not the end of the world. And then the last card is one Hieratic Seal. We're not really trying to go, well, obviously we're not going first. So the Seal is more if we fail to OTK them, we can still then end on Seal plus maybe a rank 8 of choice. But that's the extra deck we're going for. And the side deck is, I'm not super happy with it, but we'll see how we go. I'm playing one Esset, one Goliath. So if I anticipate my opponent is going to make me go first, and like I said, this deck doesn't go first all that well, I'm going to side out a lot of the second cards that the going second cards that are not hand traps. So the Gamma Seals, depending on the matchup, I might set up the Twin Twisters or the Heavy Storm Duster, the Harpies for the Duster, and I'm going to side them more in for hand traps because there's a very good chance we will end our turn on nothing. So Lancia, Nibiru, and Ash. These should cover most matchups that I'm expecting or anticipating. So I'm just going to side in whichever hand traps are relevant and hope we don't get OTK'd, and then hopefully OTK them on the following turn or on turn 3. And then I'm also just siding in a couple more back row hate cards, so Twin Twisters, Cosmic, and a Reboot, putting the total up to 6 back row cards because there's 2 in the main deck, and we'll see how that goes. I'll do some quick, just drawing 5, just to show you what kind of hands we're working with, and yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to do some really quick test hands. I'm just going to draw 6 cards because we'll get our 6th card, and we'll just see, just so you can kind of see the consistency of what the deck can do. 5, so that would be our 5 cards, and then obviously we would be firing off the Gamma in our opponent's turn to try and reduce the end board that they're going for. Oops. I'm anticipating that the Driver would then also be banished too. And now we get to draw our 6th card. So our draw for turn, we usually try and hold the Imperm. Obviously, depending on the deck, you can suss out whether or not you want to use the Imperm. I would probably prefer just to hold it. And our last card is a Twin Twisters. So the unfortunate thing about this hand is that the trade-in is just super dead. So this is not the best hand at all. What we'd be going for here is imperming the big threat, whatever the threat is. Obviously we can Twin Twisters if we need to, get rid of the trade-in. That deals with those. And then with our last 2 cards, we want to try and set up the Hieratic, just a Hieratic play. Probably just a Zeus board. So we'd be just using our 2 Hieratics to get into Beyond, then into Gaia, and then into Zeus on top of that. And that would probably be the best that we're going to get with this hand. It won't be an OTK, but yeah, not the best hand to start with. So we should be able to establish the Zeus fairly easily. It's just whether or not we can do anything more after that, because generally, you saw just then it used up all our resources just to get to that Zeus. Harpies, it's decent. Gamma is good. Bigfoot is potentially really good. Sue and Blue Eyes. So this hand is not very good either. Obviously we'd be Gammaing. Get rid of the Driver. And a trade-in would be pretty decent. A Tefnuit. Okay, well it's not the worst. Obviously we do have a Hieratic play here, similar to the previous hand. We've got Duster. It's probably just safer to go the Hieratic play, because if we can try and go for a rank 8 using Tefnuit, Tribute Sue, to summon Blue Eyes. However, if we hit the Bigfoot, obviously we get the pop, which is nice, but we can't really then go for anything outside of that. So in this hand, it's probably just best to play the Hieratic play out, go for a rank 6, and then if you can pull off the Bigfoot, if it gets popped, if the Bigfoot gets discarded and you get a pop, that's fine too. But we're probably just going for Zeus also. This is really interesting because in a lot of my test hands, Zeus has been not even an option because the rest of the cards have been a lot better. But we will see how we go with this next one. A Blue Eyes, trade in, Blue Eyes, and Bigfoot. Okay, so this hand at the moment is bad, but trade in, we're going to see 4 cards here with trade in, which is good. So we'll draw our 6th card, of course. Well, let's see how this goes. So our first trade in would discard the Bigfoot, and we draw into Melody and Gamma Seal. So that's decent. We can obviously Gamma Seal another threat if we need to. So we popped one, we've Gamma Sealed one, trade in again. I would discard Blue Eyes, Bigfoot and Melody, and now I guess we can Melody, discard Melody. We'd search the alternative because we've got it, and search the Levy. We don't need the Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon here. It's not going to do us much good. From here we can trade in again, discard the other Bigfoot. It's not going to get any effect, but we can see 2 more cards. And this is pretty good. We can summon the Gamma Seal here because we've given them a Gamma Seal. We've got enough fodder for Levy to summon out, and we can summon the Blue Eyes alternative for free here as well. So we can definitely set up some pretty good rank 8 plays here. It wasn't too bad. Although it definitely had potential to not be very good if we didn't draw well off trade in. Alright, we've got Driver, Tefnut, Gamma, Seal, and a Gamma Seal. So again, unfortunately we've got the Gamma Driver, but we'd use that in our opponent's turn. They would get banished. Draw for turn into a Gamma, which is useless. We can kaiju the biggest threat and hope that the Zeus will get us there with this. Not that strong. Blue Eyes, Sue, Thunderbird, Labradorite, and Melody. So this hand is not that great at the moment, and we'll draw into a Sue. So it's really not that good at all. Melody ditching Thunderbird would pop a set card. The cards that we would add here, it's not pretty at all, but we'd go for alternative and Levy, because they're the 2 that are going to give us the most potential, because in this hand we're actually going to have to tribute some of the Sue. At least we've got the second Sue to then actually trigger our Hieratic plays here, but what this would do is we would summon the alternative, we'd have to tribute, or use that to pop a card, tribute over it for Sue, use the other Sue, and that would give us enough fodder then for Levy as well. So we'd potentially do alright there with that hand. It's not the worst. I'll do one more and see how we go with that. Alright, our last one, we have Imperm, Melody, Tefnut, Sue, and Esset. So this is decent. Ideally we want this next card to be like a Gamma Seal or something would be good. Gamma, it's not too bad. There's an okay chance because Melody is it's a card that definitely people would like to ash. So if they ash it, obviously we're going to get a lot of value off the Gamma here. Obviously we can Imperm a threat. Though we'd potentially save the Imperm. We'd probably fire off the Melody first. In this hand, we're going to ditch the Esset because we've already got the free sum. Ooh, actually. Okay, so there's one potential conflict here because if we use Melody, discarding Esset, and it lets us trigger, we're able to trigger Gamma because of Ash, we lose the summon of Tefnut, which means the Sue is also then fairly useless. However, and then that would also turn off the Imperm. So we'd probably want to, depending on the threats on the board, we'd probably want to Imperm first, and then go for the Melody. We'll just, hypothetically, we'll just assume that we don't get the Gamma, so we're not able to use it. So we Melody, we're going to grab the Advanced Dragon here and the Levy. So more often than not, Levy is going to be one of your targets, just because it's universally fairly decent. And then depending on what your hand is, Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon might be the next. If you've got access to Tefnuit, Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon comes next, because these two make plays on their own. But in this case, we can actually go Tefnuit, Tribute for Sue, summon a Blue Eyes, Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon over Sue, summon a Blue Eyes, and that's pretty good as well. So potential with that hand. Obviously, if the opponent's board is too big, we're not going to get there with just one Imperm. But that's the deck we're going to be taking. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to playing. It's got a lot of fun cards in it, like the Galaxy package. Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon is always really fun to play, and we'll see how we go. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and thanks for 200 subscribers.